Hi there, my name is Tally and I have a need for speed, and today I want to talk to you about the Clear A world record speedrun by CURTIIZ, whose links are in the description below. Go show them some love by subbing, following them on Twitch and hopping into chat. In this video I do want to talk about some of the tricks and the strategies used in this speedrun to show how the top runners of this game beat the game in almost 45 minutes. I'll be explaining the key sections of the run, and anything that's not entirely useful I will just be skipping. Clear A's scenario starts off in the local garage where one police officer has bitten the dust and the other one is getting a nasty love bite himself. So the game plan is to get out as soon as possible, and to do that we grab this key, dink this guy in his doink, run through the middle aisle and showcase the quick turn, where CURTIIZ aims a tiny bit, ends her aim and then moves left or right. This is quicker than the standard run, since that follows more of an arc which takes more time, whereas this is a straight 90-degree angle. Moving forward to Raccoon City, it's the section of the game where I'll introduce you to two new things to consider. Clear runs faster in caution, so you'll see CURTIIZ take a bite here, and this makes the run faster overall. You'll also see the first instance of stair skating, where CURTIIZ partially aims as they move up and down stairs. As they come out of the aim, the character is going to lurch forward a little bit and will gain a slight speed boost. This is used all throughout the run and works on both characters. And once we're into the RPD, you're normally told to go save this dude Elliot from seeing security footage. Since CURTIIZ is a legend, they already know where to go, and hopefully that saves enough time to save Elliot. Spoilers, it doesn't, but in this dude's dying breaths he gives us his notebook, which conveniently tells us how to get out of the RPD through a secret passage. Here you'll see CURTIIZ pausing the game as well. I want to take this moment to explain two things. First, as the game works off an in-game timer, so does the run timer, so pausing here allows the zombie behind the door to continue loading in the background without the game timer ticking up, and means we can squeeze right by. Then at the end of the hallway, we do the same thing by squeezing through two of these bozos. Now that we're back in the main hall, Marvin gives us the knife which allows us to open this box, the only time you'll ever see this. Then we move down the hallway and that will showcase some of the supreme movement, where the runner's going to stick close to the walls to cut these corners finer than a slice of lime at Paddy's pub. Now while CURTIIZ is running through this area, I would like to politely ask, if you are enjoying the video so far, please do subscribe, drop a like and comment something fun down below. It is the best way to help support the channel, and it helps the video reach even more people. Now we make our way up the stairs and give this dude a little bonk to keep him out of the way so that we can go grab the spade key. After grabbing the spade key, we head over to the library where Marvin hits Claire with the "you up," and in order to get him to hang up, she fakes her death by falling through the floor. The real reason though is being on the call slows you down and falling cancels the call early. Now we get to the Lion Medallion, where the puzzle answer always stays the same, but where the puzzle starts changes, requiring some on-the-fly calculations. At this point we have to explore the other wing of the RPD, and there's a cool trick where the helicopter crashing through the wall normally causes the player to stumble, but by turning to the right, that drastically decreases the stumble time. We then pop into this chained up room and grab the crank and fuse, then immediately use that fuse to keep the door to the main hall open. Then we do a lap of the RPD again, retracing our steps through this hallway, except now with more zombies. This time we go for the chained up door to grab the detonator and head to the middle floor, dodging the newly awakened police zombie and running into the locker room. Then we use the crank to turn off the steam and access the STAR's office. Here we're going to find the battery for the C4 detonator. Outside of this room lives a licker, but you can change the licker's behaviour by looking at it and positioning your camera well, which should make it less aggressive but no less nightmare inducing. And at the end of the hallway we grab the unicorn medallion and make our way through a busy library, entering the maiden room where we plant the C4 and pop our head out of the door. Doing this stops the bookcase from falling, which makes escaping this licker much easier and much faster. And with that we return to the main hall and down some stairs to the first boss fight. One thing I didn't mention was CURTIIZ collects a few knives as they go throughout the run. This is crucial since the knife is the most important boss killer in the game. As the knife is tied to frame rate, the 120 FPS makes the knife do insane damage, which can easily take out G1 in roughly 16 or 17 slashes. It sounds like a lot, it's actually no time at all. And we make our way up to the parking garage where our little friend Sherry gets kidnapped. This is going to require us to run through a liquor infested room to steal a key from a dead guy. It's okay though, he was a notorious thief, so it is just karma. Once that's out of the way, we head up the elevator into RPD2. The aim of RPD2 is to collect 2 orange boxes which have 2 fuses in them to open the garage door key, allowing us to save Sherry from the Iron Chef. We find the first of these by grabbing a key from the back of this picture and heading upstairs, making sure to bop this dude on the noggin or else he will try to ruin the run. We also grab the large gear for later use. The second box is less easy and requires us to climb down this ladder, turn on the water and put out the helicopter fire. However, this will spawn Mr. X, who is going to be stalking us all over the game. However, CURTIIZ actually mastered Ultra Instinct and dodges Mr. X with the greatest of ease. Now we zoom back to the detonator room, which has another door allowing us to access the library bookshelf lever. Before entering the library, CURTIIZ shoots the floor to confuse the zombies inside and buy enough time to move the bookcases together. This lets us into the clock tower where messing about with the large gear we picked up earlier breaks the clock and we find the second orange box on the floor. I guess that counts as a success. And then finally, to round off this section, we head back to that locked door, fix the circuit and answer the phone. This triggers the Sherry section of the game, and to be honest, this is almost entirely on rails except for the first puzzle, which requires you to grab the block from this stall, move the first block to the third slot and then match up the shapes, allowing you to grab the scissors. These lead to the climbable drawers, and there's a tiny bit of RNG here as you really want Sherry to climb up as close to the right as possible, cutting down the time that it takes to get through the window. Then, we do the Sherry wiggle down the stairs and hide from the Iron Giant. Again, this part's mostly on rails, so there's not too much to talk about. Then we cut back to Claire, who has all she needs to head to the orphanage to save Sherry. All that's left is a hop downstairs and to distract Mr. X while the door opens by giving him a little duck and a weave, and then running out of the garage. We pop this problematic zombie in the dome and dodge past all these bad good boys and proceed to pick up the grenade on the bus. This will be important for an upcoming boss fight. We then pop this dude's noggin to squeeze by, because few things are worse than someone who takes up too much space on the bus. And then to cap off this section, we run into the orphanage and completely ignore Sherry, because there is still an 8-foot bioweapon behind us and that is not on my list of shit to deal with today. However, the only way to escape this abomination is to dive headfirst into the sewer section of the game. The sewers start off by running through some thick and chunky water into an observation room where we stun one zombie and immediately dodge his friend into the chess puzzle room, where we proceed to lower a bridge, bank to the left to grab yet another crank, and with that crank it's time to head downstairs, do more noggin popping and open a gate. After this gate opens, we run by literal nightmare fuel in order to pop upstairs and grab the first chess puzzle and immediately head exactly back where we came from so we can head into the G-Nest. In the G-Nest we're going to have some super clean movement and enemy baiting, and I'm happy to tell you that's exactly the case. We start off by shooting this abomination in their meat mound and running past while it has an existential crisis and taking a super clean shot at its friend to force it to take a dive of shame. And then we run past the third of the trio before it can even get out its shit pipe. Next we grab the Queen plug and use it to open the door to the King plug, showcasing some incredibly tight quick turns up the stairs into the King plug and down to the platform so they can place the Queen plug back in the other hole. Same with the King, and that will open the way out, allowing us to grab both keys while we go. Now that we have the Knight plug, Queen plug, King plug and the butt plug, we're ready to take on the chess puzzle, but before that we have to take on the final G-monster. I call him the quarterback, and he's handled by 3 well-placed shots in the weak spot, causing it to stun, and we just walk right by. So we return to the puzzle room and plug in all the chess pieces in the correct place and head into the G2 boss fight. We start this off by flicking the first, second and fourth switch on this power generator and then throwing a grenade into that exact same corner, since G is going to try and stab us through that ceiling. And this is effectively going to skip the reverse whack-a-mole section, allowing us to zoom by Birkin as he wrecks the door so we can proceed to the second half of the fight. In a casual setting, you aim to hit him with the swinging crate twice while he's downed to knock him off the edge. However, in classic speedrun fashion, we're going to knife him to an inch of his life while the swinging crate winds up, and once Birkin has had a good solid spanking, he decides to retaliate, but that's a super easy dodge for anyone who's good at the game, and CURTIIZ is great at the game. So Birkin runs face first into the crate, and that is the fight over and done with. Now, throughout this you might have seen CURTIIZ adjusting their graphics, and this essentially guarantees the highest frame rate they can get, which again is 120 FPS for this category. And for the second time we rescue Sherry, who has a bad case of G-virus, and we take her to the tram where we found the crank and head over to Nest, which is the final area of the game. Now Nest is an area that will require some top tier movement and some decent puzzle speed, all while being an area that things can go south fast. So let's proceed and explain it. The first thing we do is run into this corridor to the right, straight into the cafe, and disturb everyone having lunch so we can climb into a conveniently placed air vent. This allows us to grab another knife and an upgrade for our magic key bracelet. This upgrade gives us access to new areas within Nest, and one of those areas is the Ivy room. Now, it's easy enough to run by the first Ivy and into the control room where we're going to input 2 codes, one for the drug lab and one for the basement. Next we grab the empty dispersal cartridge. We're going to fill this up with grade A plant killer. In order to do that, we dive into the drug lab to create the plant killer using this puzzle right here, and once we have the plant spray we actually need to freeze it, which can be done in the basement. In the basement we'll also grab one of the final key items. On our way, CURTIIZ showcases how to deal with Ivies by popping their orange glob in order to stun them. In the basement we spawn 2 more lickers, and again you see a bit of camera manipulation, and we head upstairs to grab the signal modulator, a fancy key with built-in puzzles. Now that we have this, it's time to sprint back down the stairs, dealing with some headshots on the way down, and now that we're back in the basement we're going to shoot the floor to attract the lickers so we can flashbang them and head over to the first use of the signal modulator, which turns on the power downstairs, so that we can freeze the plant solution. However, to do that we have to run past the lickers and the newly awakened zombies, which CURTIIZ does with the simplest of ease. After the magic plant solution takes a dip in the freezer, it's now ready to be used so that we can grab the next magic bracelet upgrade. So once more we flash the lickers and adjust the camera to be able to manipulate their attack AI, so we can safely get back upstairs and put these plants to rest. Now we have the bracelet upgrade and we head back to the central room where we can use it to cross to the other side to grab the G antivirus for Sherry. However, before we can do that, it's time for G free. To start off this boss fight, we slash the bottom eye, which causes him to lurch forward, allowing us to pop his back eye with a couple of well placed shots, and then we soften up the top eye with a couple more shots, and then we bait it into slamming its fist on the ground. This leaves it wide open for the knife to deal with. At this point, G's going to fall over and it's going to have more eyes pop out of its tummy mouth. A sentence I never expected to say. So you'll see CURTIIZ slashing it from the back and then gradually making his way forward. This is because if you go straight for the eyes at the front, it will move on to the next phase sooner. So by going for the back and gradually moving forward, it allows us to one-cycle this bad boy and take it out in no time at all. After we head back to the main entrance to collect Sherry and make our way back to the centre hall, and we take this large elevator down to try and escape this hellhole. At the bottom of the elevator we grab one more knife and keep heading down with Sherry, running past a few Ivies and straight into a locked door. Sherry climbs over a gaping maw to unlock the door from the other side, but we're going to have to survive 2 more Ivies. The first, we use a couple of almost broken knives to put it down. Once it's dealt with, its brother falls down where CURTIIZ lets it grab them so they can use a knife to stun it, leaving just enough time for Sherry to open the door. Moving through the next hallway gives us our final doink in the noggin of the video, and it takes us straight to the train room. And here's where we're going to wrap up the run by fighting G4. We start off G4 by gunning down as many eyes as we can with the conveniently placed Gatling gun, and in order to clean up the rest, that just takes a swift slash with the knife. Then we do exactly the same thing again as it clambers towards the wall, where Birkin does a bit of a Spider-Man cosplay. Much like myself though, we deal with spiders with grenades, and once that body hits the floor like Drowning Pool, we go back to, you guessed it, knifing the ever-loving crap out of this abomination, and we finish it off by getting some distance and gunning it down while walking back, and with a tiny bit of patience the fight is over. This ends the run here at a solid 48 minutes and 18 seconds, it's an incredible showing. And as we approach the end of the video, I do want to say again, huge shout outs to CURTIIZ for the world record. Their links are all down below and I highly encourage you to pop into their chat and show some love, or sub to them on YouTube and see their continued speedrunning efforts. As always, if you like this content, please make sure to give it a like. If you love it, give it a share and tell everyone you know about the channel today. As always, you have been amazing, I have been Tally, I will catch you all next time, bye.